Here we are, man. What's going on, everyone? It's Adam Rich, and today I wanted to talk to you about what is your purpose? Are you having trouble finding out like what it is that you want to do in life, or what you think that like what your job, your dream job is, or what you were basically put here to do, or uh, like I think we all kind of struggle with this early on in life, and then some of us definitely struggle with it later on. And it's a very common question. It's a very common problem that a lot of people go through because you have a lot of influences when you grow up. You have a lot of people chirping in your ear about what you should do or what's the smart thing to do or what they would do if they could start over and things like that. And a lot of that will shape your mind. It'll shape like the way you think about things and the way you think about your career and what you want to do in life to make money or to get by. And we hear a lot of things on TV about like what's important, like making money and fame and all kinds of things. But I realized later on that a lot of the stuff that you're preached about, that you hear about growing up, that you think is like super important, isn't really important. It's not that big of a deal. It's like when you think about money, everyone on the face of the earth wants more money. Everyone wants to be rich, really rich. No pun intended. No, but seriously, everyone wants to have more money. Like nobody wants to have less, and nobody wants to just stay the same. A lot of people will chalk up money with success. Meaning like they think that if they're not constantly making more and more and more, they're not successful. And if you're staying the same or if you're going backwards, you're not successful. But the what I want to talk about today is that I think a lot of that nonsense is put in our heads, and it's bad, bad, bad advice. It's terrible advice. When you are constantly told growing up that, well, I would do this so I could make more money, and I would do this because it makes more money, and I would do that because it makes more money. Everyone that says that stuff, some people may have the right intentions. They may have the right thing in their heart. They may be wanting to tell you what they feel is right. But a lot of times it's wrong, man. A lot of times they are way off. It took me 30-something years to realize that money is not what it's about. I mean, of course, everyone wants more money. I'm no different. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that I don't care about money and I hate money and I don't need any money and all that stuff. Obviously, everyone needs money. They need to get by and all that stuff. But what you value in life really determines the definition of success. Because, for instance, if you really, really strongly value being a dad and taking care of your kid and being a good husband, then no amount of money in the world is going to make that the case. No amount of money in the world is going to make you a good husband, a good father, a smart individual. No amount of money does that. No amount of money can fill your heart like with happiness. No amount of money can do those things. What money can do is buy items. It can buy trips in an event. It can buy you if you have health issues. It can buy you medicine and things like that. Like money is a necessity to an extent. Like I don't highly recommend everyone trying to be homeless, but it's not where the focus should be. It's not what it's not why you were put here. It's not why you were born. It's not why you're made. It's not why you have gifts and talents and skills and abilities. It's not why you have these things. Money is purely just the form of currency. Like if we still lived in the olden days where you could trade livestock and things, you would be trying to work your ass off to get more cows and more sheep. But now we've substituted all those things that we used to trade, and we've formed a currency. That's what society has done for thousands of years now. And the whole purpose of this is to buy other cool things. Like it never, ever, ever meant success. There are billionaires out there that I don't consider successful because they're miserable. They're unhappy and they're always chasing more stuff and they're always constantly working and not seeing their families. Now, they may be successful in their field and maybe the only thing that they care about is their field, and in which case they would consider themselves successful. But my opinion about what makes you successful is 100% irrelevant. Does not matter at all what I think makes you successful. What I think makes everybody successful, myself included, is, are you achieving the things that make you happy? That's true success. If you are genuinely, legitimately happy in life, with your circumstance, with your outcome, with your um, it's not one field is what I'm saying. It's not just your job. Like a lot of people will chalk it up to, if I have, the job that I love, that makes me successful. Or if I do a good enough job and I make a certain amount of money, or if I get a certain promotion, that will mean I'm successful. It doesn't. That does not mean you're successful at all. Because listen, who are you successful to? Because you can't just choose one area, like say I want to be the CEO of this company, and then I'll know I'm successful. Well, what if you're the vice president? Or what if you're not the CEO, but the next step down was a COO in some companies or whatever. My point is, if you're not 100% at the top, does that mean you're not successful? And if so, if you think that makes you successful, I don't. So therefore, who are you successful for? If you're only successful in your mind, one, that's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. It does not matter if I think you're successful. It doesn't matter if Will Smith thinks you're successful. It doesn't matter if your boss thinks you're successful. What matters is, do you feel successful? And I can't stress this enough. True success is all in here and in here. It's 100%. I feel like I'm successful in certain areas, and none of it has anything to do with finances. I do feel like I have a decent amount of money. I'm not loaded. I'm not rich by any means. My last name is Rich. I am really rich. But I'm not like a multi-billionaire. I'm not a multi-millionaire 100 times over. I'm not even close to any of that. But that is not, to me, what makes me feel successful. What makes me feel successful is, do I wake up every morning and appreciate and enjoy life? Check. Do I have loving, caring people around me that I genuinely love and care back for? Check. Do I have this wonderful, amazing dog that you can't see off screen, this little Boston Terrier, cute little sucker, that makes me happy, and he's such a lovable dog? Does that make me successful? Check. Like certain things in life, you have to make the decision. You have to make the call whether or not you feel like you have reached your success. And it's not anyone else's opinion. We're told this nonsense in magazines, the internet, movies, TV. We hear these unrealistic expectations about what makes you great, what makes you successful, what makes you happy, and things like that. And I guarantee you, if you ask 99 people out of 100, if you ask 100 people, 99 of them will say, I want more money. I want more money. I want more money. I want more money. It's a recurring theme, and it's nonstop. What I'm trying to do is break people's mindset of thinking that money has anything to do with why you're happy. It doesn't. Having more money allows you to buy things that you enjoy, but that is not happiness. You see what I'm saying? Like, if the only thing you care about in life is a Ferrari, any of them, and you buy one, well, then you're probably happy now. And in which case, now you're happy. But it's not money that makes you happy. It was the Ferrari. And the money is what you use to buy the thing that made you happy. You see, like, there's a difference, man. There really honestly is a difference. Everyone on earth will tell you they want more money. A homeless person and the richest man on earth, they all want more money. I promise. If you try to comment and tell me that you don't care about money at all, one, I'll show you a liar. Two, you're just commenting and doing it just so you can try to form some argument, just to have a whole gotcha moment type of thing. We know you're full of shit. We know that you want more money. Everybody does. I'm no different. But what I'm trying to tell you is, money is not at all critical. Is it important? Yes. Is it critical? Not in the least. Not in the least bit is it critical. I know people that are making 30 to 40 grand a year, and they are extremely happy, and they love life, and they're so just joyful and just happy to be alive, and they're just happy in life. Of course they want stuff. Of course they want more money. Of course there's things they don't have that they want. Nobody on earth has every single thing that they want. Everyone has something in life that they do not have that they definitely want. Everybody does. So you need to stop labeling, you need to stop categorizing yourself or other people as losers or winners based on what you think is the epitome of success. You don't know. You don't know what is somebody else's true happiness. You don't. And I can sit here and tell you till I'm blue in the face, and you still wouldn't really know. You would only know whatever it is that I let out. There might be other stuff inside. You don't know. You don't know. We don't know at the core what everyone, how everyone ticks. We don't know that. So to sit here and try to pinpoint one thing like that's the definition of success, or me being famous is successful, me being number one at my job is successful, me making 250 grand a year is successful. Like, those things are cool. Those things are fun. They don't matter. They don't ultimately matter in life. They really don't, because you can make 50 grand and get by and be totally happy. It's about what you want in here. And if you're one of these people that only want, like, I want a yacht and I want a mansion and I want this and I want to go have my own island and I want to have all the things that all the rich people have, well, then that's not what you want. That's you want what other people look like they want. If they have a mansion and they have a helicopter and they own an island and they have harems of women, flocks of them, groupies everywhere, you may look at that and think, man, that guy's living the life, or that woman is just killing it. She's living the, like, you look at Kim Kardashian or Kylie or Kendall or all of them Kardashian, right? And they all have money and they're all famous and they have their TV shows, and all these young girls like look up to them and they're like, yeah, I want to be just like them. No, you don't. You want to be famous like them, and you want to be desirable like them. You trust me, you don't want to be them. They're like, man, I can't even get into how like shallow their lives must be. And maybe they're happy and they would look at me saying this right now and they'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. Fine. Okay. My point is, you're not them. So to look at them and be like, that's what I want. It's okay to have like model that you like, that you find people that you are like, man, I really like what they're doing. I would like to do that. But to pick one person and say, I want to be them, or I want to be just like that one person, man, that's a shallow life. That's a really shallow philosophy, because ultimately there should be many influences around you that shape the way you think, that shape the things that you care about, that shape your passion and like what you enjoy. You should never just look at one specific person and go, I want exactly that, because you don't know what that person's going through off the camera or in their downtime that you don't see. You don't know what that person's going through. You don't necessarily want that. You don't want all of that. You just want the good parts that you see. You want to cherry pick. And that's fine. We all do that. I cherry pick too. I look at guys like Gary Vee and I'm like, man, that dude is extremely motivational and inspirational. I'm trying to be in that same vein of like trying to help people and motivate and like really get you thinking about what it is you want to do and stop procrastinating like I did for so damn long. Because listen, I fell for the same stupid shit that everyone else does. I watch TV. I listen to certain music that talked about money and cars and all this stuff. And at the time, I'm like, man, that's exactly what I want. And I didn't know better. What I had to learn later in life is like, what makes me tick inside? What makes me happy? Like, what things do I really, really want to build my life around? What would I be able to look back at 60, 70 years old and be like, man, I am so grateful that I got to experience that. That's what a lot of people I don't think about it today. A lot of people think about, what do I want today? I know what I want today. I want to go out and buy me a new car. I want to go out and buy a new watch. I want to go out and buy a new video game. I want to go out and buy a new house and a new this and a new that. And I want a hot tub and I want to go on a vacation and all this. And that's awesome, man. I'm not knocking any of those things. Those things are wonderful, awesome, beautiful things to have. But you need to also ask yourself, what do I really want more than anything? And if I spend money and time and effort on those other things that I think I want, would it slow me down achieving this one thing that I really desperately want? Like, I desperately really want to be a person that, like, I want to help people and I want to do things, like I want to be involved and I want to use, I don't know. I can't say it without sounding like I'm bragging. I swear I don't mean it in a bragging way, but I just want to be able to help people like learn and help motivate people when they don't know better on their own. Because I didn't for a long time. So it's not, I'm not saying this in some, I know it all and I got it all figured out way. I don't. I obviously don't. Otherwise, I would be killing it way bigger than I am right now. But I at least feel like I'm onto something now, at least with myself. And I'm more in tune with what I want to be for other people, what I want to do for other people, how I want to help them. Because ultimately, I think everyone has a gift. I've said this a billion times. I think everyone on earth has a gift. You may be lucky, you may not be lucky enough to know what that gift is. But if you are lucky enough to know what you're good at and what you really enjoy, and you can mash those two together, man, you can have some serious, serious happiness. You really can. Because I look at it like this. There's a few things that I feel like I'm good at and that I like doing and things. But at the same time, I didn't find out until I had already started building a life doing something else, something that I don't like. And the problem is I'm so far committed as far as like the bills that need to be paid and how much money I need to maintain in order to, not be homeless or move backwards. Like here's the thing is I can do one of two things. I can either quit that job that I'm not extraordinarily happy with, something that's not my passion. I'll just say that, all right? It's not that I hate it or whatever. It's just that it's not my passion. It's not what I love to do. It's not what I want to base my life around with, and it's not how I want to spend the next 20, 30 years doing, you know what I mean? I can either quit that job and just hope to get by with no job and like try to go all in on what I really, really want to do. Or B, I can try to be a little bit smarter about it and keep the job that I have and also work on what I really want to do in my spare time. Now, this takes sacrifice. Both of these accounts take sacrifice. Both of them do. Because if I quit my job and I don't have an income, I have no money coming in, then I'm going to have a wife and a kid and a dog and a house payment, and car payments and all these things. And I don't have no job. I ain't got no bill. I have bills and I have no money coming in. So now I got to live off of all the money that I've saved, which, it's there, but it should be there more for a safety net, not there because, hey, I just don't like what I do. I don't think that I haven't spent that kind of time saving over all these years of my life to build the kind of money that I put in a savings account or a 401k just to quit my job and take it all out and just blow it all. And especially when it comes to 401k, anyone that has a 401k will tell you, if you're not a specific age, if you're younger and you try to take this money out, the government takes damn near half of it because they take like 30 to 40% in taxes and you get penalized and all this. And by the time it's all said and done, whatever amount of money you have in there, if you try to take it out and cash it, you get like half basically. So it's not even, I don't even know if that's worth it because one, I don't know how long I could pay my house, pay my bills with that. And two, I'd probably end up having to get another part-time side job anyhow. So what I'm trying to do is balance everything, which is hard. It's very, very, very hard. And I do recommend it because I feel like it's smarter and it allows me to not take a step backwards. At the same time, it might make things take a little bit longer. And that's what I got to weigh up. That's for me to do though. That's not for anybody else to decide. That's purely me. And I feel like right now, the way things are going personally, right now I can tolerate doing the job and working at building something other than that, what I really want to do, which is podcasting and helping people learn. And I want to write a book, and I'm designing clothes right now. So I got my hands in a lot of different things that I'm trying to do, but I got to do if I want to ever get this stuff going and get this business off the ground and get moving, I got to put in the time. And I found that the way I was going is I was always playing video games. I was always watching my TV shows, and I was always like doing all my sports stuff, like watching all my sports stuff and keeping up on stats and who's good at this and what are they doing and things like that. And ultimately, none of that matters. It doesn't, but it was just fun for me. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But then you get to a point in time where you have to decide, like, is this something I really want to, do I want to, it's not wasted time if you're, I feel like there's no such thing as a waste of time if you're taking something valuable out of it. Like, meaning, if I'm sitting there staring at a wall Everyone on earth, I'm sure, would look at that and be like, well, obviously it's a waste of time. You spend 1 hour staring at a wall. All right, well, what if in that 1 hour, I'm trying to figure out issues that are going on in my life, or I'm trying to work out some kind of a problem in my head, or I'm trying to, I don't know, do math, or I'm trying to think about a topic for the show, or I'm trying to get ideas into when I write a book. If I'm staring at a wall for an hour, anybody else would look at me and be like, you're crazy, and that's obviously a waste of your time. But if in my head, in that 1 hour, if I came up with all these answers to all of those issues that I just named, then how did I really waste any time? I didn't waste any time. I learned stuff. I figured things out in my head. And it's almost like a meditation. It's like you're blocking out everything else to focus on what really, is bothering you, or what really a problem that lies in front of you. And I don't think that anything is a waste of time if you take something valuable from it. Now, some people think that watching TV shows or playing video games and blah, 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 like you name it, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to you. Then don't do it. But if it's not a waste of time to me, I don't care what you tell me. I don't care if you tell me that you think it's a waste of time. It doesn't matter to me what you think, or what you think is a waste of time. It doesn't matter. What I value and what I think is valuable, that is all that matters to me, as far as how I value, if I feel like I'm wasting my time, or if I feel like, if I'm talking about trying to be successful. And if you're doing these exact same things, listen, man, I'm just sick of having teachers and like parents and neighbors and loved ones and all these people that know everything tell you that what you're doing isn't right, or what you're doing is a waste of time, or what you're doing isn't going to lead to success, or what you're doing. Just shut all them out. They don't matter. Their opinions don't matter. You need to figure out in your mind what it is you are trying to accomplish, and then game plan that. Take steps in thinking about how you can achieve this. For me, I wanted to get the podcast going, right? I wanted to get a podcast going. I wanted to start getting some clothing, some t-shirts and some things like that going. Just some funny ones, some good, like some designer ones, just some for the podcast. I even today created a shirt. I haven't printed it up or nothing yet, but I designed a shirt that just for the guys in my fantasy football league, for all of us to have, that represents our fantasy football team. I did all that while I was at work. It was awesome. But these types of things take time. You have to sacrifice your time. A wise man once said, time is the most valuable thing ever in your existence, because it's the one thing you can never, ever get back. So how are you spending your time? How are you managing your time? Are you working for 8 to 10 hours to 12 hours and then going home and like knocking back a couple cold ones and watching TV just to unwind and relax? Okay, well then you're not being very productive. But if that makes you happy, who gives a shit what's productive? Like, that's what matters. If sitting on your ass watching TV makes you super happy, don't listen to anyone tell you not to do that. Now, is that productive if you're trying to do other things in your spare time? Well, no, because you're taking away from that just so you can sit around and watch TV. However, say you're sitting around and watching TV and everything that you're watching is how to build your own business, how to get started, how to get more viewers, how to get more customers, how to get more sales, how to get this, how to get that, how to do this. Then it's not a waste of time. So who gives a shit what anyone says about it? Who cares what anyone thinks at that point? It does not matter. What only thing that matters is you and what makes you happy. And I believe that everyone in life has a purpose. There's something that they're built for. There's something that they're good at. There's something that they naturally just excel in. And that, I believe, is not only your gift, but it leads to what your purpose should be. Because I don't think anyone has a gift for no reason at all. I don't think anyone just wakes up and they're like, man, I'm really good at writing left-handed. Well, then you should teach somebody, maybe teach classes, maybe do a podcast or a YouTube video showing people how to do it. Or, I mean, I know this sounds silly because I'm taking a dramatic, weird example, but my point is, Everybody has a gift, and everybody should try to utilize that. If you're the best yo-yoer on the planet, teach people, man. Show people, enter tournaments, make up new tricks. There's so many things you can do in life. If you're a great drawer, the sky is the limit and what you can do as far as drawing, painting, graphic design, all kinds of stuff, man. If you're very creative like that, there is no end to what you can do and how you can show others and teach others. Like, we're living in a time now where you can literally make YouTube videos, have your own show, and teach people how to do things. You can offer up classes to sell. You know, I've thought about doing that myself, like when it comes to certain things as far as how to handle business, how to handle people, how to read people. That's one of the things that I've always been decent at is reading people. I kind of excel at like being able to see somebody, their situation, their background, and kind of figuring out how they think, why they think that way. If I say a certain thing, how they're going to take it, how to coach them / manipulate them. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know the word manipulate sounds bad, but you can literally manipulate in a positive way. You can manipulate bad people into doing good things. So it's not, when you say the word manipulate, it's not as horrible as it sounds. But the point is, when you have a gift and you're good at something, you should use that. You should try to figure that out as quickly as physically possible. If you're 5 and you are just great at drawing, dude, if you're a parent and that's your child that's great at drawing, it's your job now to encourage every chance you get. Listen, you are phenomenal at this. Do you like it? And if they say no, well, then they're probably not drawing anyway at 5. If they don't like it, they're doing what they like at 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is, if you find that a kid is good at something, there's a good chance that they like it also. And if they like something and they're good at it, you should try to help them stay on that path. I'm not saying force them. I'm not saying like get mad at them if they want to quit. Listen, if somebody wants to quit doing something because it doesn't make them happy, let them quit. It's all about you being happy. You only get one shot at this life thing. And you can't worry about everyone else's opinion, what they think you should do, what their mind tells you that is smart. Like, I'm all about, listen, I think you should listen to everybody. I'm not saying you should follow everybody, but you should hear them out and make your own assumption whether or not they're a complete idiot or they have any, they know what they're talking about. Like, you may listen to me right now and be like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. If you feel that way, then I don't know why you're listening anyway. But if you think that I might be onto something, then that will get you somewhere. Like, listen. But if you listen to everything I have to say and you're like, nope, he doesn't know what he's talking about, I don't believe him. Okay, well, that's on you. All I'm trying to do is help. I'm doing this for free. It's not like anyone that hears this is paying me to do any of this. Okay, so I hope one day that happens, but it ain't happening yet. So this is purely me giving free information here, man. I found this way too late, and I don't want other people to do the same thing I did and find out way too late. Because now, listen, if you find out what you're good at and what you're passionate about and what you like doing, and you can find that out at an early age, you don't have to work for 15 years like I did, and then all of a sudden now you're trying to reshape your career. Like, I'm trying to build something that I really care about while I'm working full-time and overtime at a job that I don't really, it's not my thing, okay? I'm not trying to badmouth it. I have in the past many times, but that's not where I'm going with this. It pays my bills. Phenomenal medical and insurance and all that stuff, and that's great and all, but that's not what makes me happy. That's not, like, I like having money. I like having medical insurance and things like that, but ultimately, would I give all that up to focus on a career that makes me happy? In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I'd give all that up. Because ultimately, health insurance and dental and optical and 401k and a good paying hourly, good hourly paying job or whatever, that stuff is important, but it's not critical. It's not. It's really not. And so many people are told, like, right after high school, you got to figure out exactly what you want to do, and you got to go to college, and if you don't go to college, you got to get a job, and if you get a job, you got to work there, and you got to be awesome at it, and you got to work your best. And I highly recommend doing all those things if you go that route. If you are going to get a job, you should work your ass off. You should work hard. You should show people that you're the best, that nobody can outwork you. If you just go into a job every day and you phone it in, one, you're not a very valuable employee to the person that's giving you a paycheck anyway. And two, what are you really saying about your state of mind, how you value yourself? If you're going to work and you're just half-assing it because it's not what you want to do in life, that's kind of a bad reason. Because if you're not, the way I look at it is this: if you're just phoning it in because your job has just crapped all over you and they don't treat you good and they treat you with very little respect, and all you care about is just that paycheck while you work on other things, that's one thing. Because then in that case, you have very good reasons to not really put your heart and soul into it. But if you're not pissed off at your job, if it's just a job that you got because you want to make some money so you can afford to go out and do stuff, then you should be trying to do a decent job at what you're doing. If they haven't physically just broken you down and like ruined your drive and your effort, then you should be working. You should be doing a good job. You should, because it represents you. You're not doing it for them. That's how you got to look at it. If you're doing this job that you're not a big fan of, it's not your passion or whatever, but you need to just make money and you need to get a paycheck, you should try to do a good job for your own self, for you, not for them. Like, do a good job, and in return, they'll reap the benefits of it also, but don't do it for them. Do it for you. But if you're at a job that like they have literally just broken you down mentally and you don't care about that job and they don't treat you good and you're like, screw them, well then, do whatever you want. Because at that point, it's not about you doing something for you. You're just trying to get the paycheck. See, like me personally, the job that I'm talking about that I have, it's not my passion. They've done everything they can to ruin my drive, my effort, my motivation, and it's not just me. They've done it with everybody in the damn building. The problem is they pay decent, pretty damn good, and they have really good medical benefits and whatnot, and cost of living raises, Christmas bonuses, all these, things that are really enjoyable that make it hard to leave. But it's not what I want to do in the future. It's not what I want my life to be based around. It's not what I want it's not my passion. Is the best way I can put it. It's not my drive, my goals. And I don't know, man. I go in there and I'm trying to get a paycheck. I'm trying to get my paycheck. I'm trying to make as much money as I can. The more money I can make, the quicker I can make it, the quicker I can get out and I can do what I love doing, and try to make a living doing that. And that, to me, I think is a huge, huge step in being happy, because ultimately I'm happy in life. I may not be happy with my job, but I do feel happiness in life, like the way my life is going. I have great family and friends and good health for all of us, and I have a good house that I live in, a good vehicles to get myself around in, and I'm not in horrible shape. I'm not the best. I'm not, an all-star athlete or nothing. Damn close, but no. But I mean, there's really not a lot that I have to complain about. It's just that one area of my life, if I could change anything, it would be that career path. And the shitty thing is I was told all the right things when I was young. I just didn't listen. Like, I was told, work hard at what you want to be. Work hard at what you want to do. Figure out what you want to do. And you know what I did? I said, screw that. I want to get drunk and play video games. And I looked at it as life. You only get one chance at life. You might as well have as much fun as possible. And then I realized later on, man, life it's fast. It goes by quick and all, but it don't go by that damn quick. Like, I feel like I've put in some work on this earth, and I just turned 35. So hopefully, knock on wood, I got a long way to go. And in which case, sitting around playing video games and getting drunk really ain't going to cut the mustard anymore. It certainly ain't going to pay my bills. Now, here's where I messed up. When I was young, there was no such hope at all in playing video games full time for a living. You could not do that. That wasn't even thought of. I mean, you could design video games, and that was the nerdy aspect of it that most people didn't want to do. Now, I loved the guys that did it because they made awesome games that I enjoyed, but I didn't want to be one of them. See, when I was growing up, I was this little fat thing that didn't get a lot of attention. So the last thing I wanted to do was get myself into a field full of nerds. And then for some dumbass reason, I ended up getting into the electrical field right around high school and right after that. So I don't know where I went wrong there, but no, I remember I was really good at golf. Me and my dad golfed all the time when I was young. I loved golfing. I was really good at it for my age. I was like way better than anyone else I knew at my age. I'm not saying I was Tiger Woods or nothing. I'm not, but I was super good for my age, and I never stuck with it because back then Tiger Woods was not even a name yet. When I turned 13, Tiger Woods started his career. That was like his very first year in the major, in the PGA. And at 13 is about the time I quit. Because Tiger wasn't like, even when he first came out, like when he first arrived, he wasn't Tiger Woods. He wasn't like everyone, no, like most people didn't know who he was. Most people didn't care who he was. So it wasn't like he didn't popularize the sport until I was like about to graduate. That was when it really started ramping up. Around the time I was like 16, 17, 18, by that time I'd quit playing golf. I'd quit playing golf for years at that point. So now I'm way behind. Now I'm like way behind in the years. And then because I got shittier, then I stopped liking playing as much. So then I quit playing as often. And now fast forward to the time I'm 35. Now I suck at golf. I mean, I'm okay. I still enjoy it, but I rarely do it. Like I haven't even gone. It's now October and I didn't golf once this entire year. Last year I golfed a couple times. The year before that I was on a league and just, I don't know. I had some good rounds, and then other times I'd just shit the bed. But that's neither here nor there. The point of the story is, when I was 13, you were a effing nerd if you golfed. And growing up, I was a little fat butterball that was starting to thin out, and I was starting to get attention from girls, so therefore I was like, no, I'm not golfing. That's for, I'm not doing it. That's nerdy. The geeks do that. And the girls didn't, like girls in high school weren't lining up to be with the guys on the golf team. They wanted the football guys or the baseball guys or even some of the basketball guys. Nobody wanted golf. Nobody looked at the golf guys and were like, So, so my point, long story short, is I gave up golf because it was nerdy, right? I didn't want to get into designing video games because it was nerdy. I was just getting out of my entire life was a nerdy phase up until that point. And I was finally just starting to get out of that and like talk to girls and I was in high school now and slimming out and working out and like, and all these things. And it's like, dude, I just wish that I was smarter then. And I mean, I don't know. Like in my mind, I look at that and say there's no excuse. In other people's minds, other people are like, well, you were 13, dude. You couldn't have known. And I get all that, and I agree with that. But at the same time, that isn't an excuse to me because I had very, very smart mentors. My mom and dad were very smart. They taught me a lot, and I just didn't listen. It's not their fault. And a lot of people can say, well, you were young, so a lot of young kids don't listen. And a part of me is like, that's true too. But at the same time, they gave me the cheat sheet. I just didn't study it. It's a problem, man. And I think a lot of kids do this. And it's partially their own fault because they're young and they don't care. Or it's partially not their fault because they're young. But it's also partially definitely their fault because they don't care. They don't think about the future. And I think as parents, it's your job to now instill that into their head. Instead of just saying it and letting it go in one ear and out the other, you need to really drive it home how critical it is, to get to listen and be smarter. Like my dad forced me to save money when I was like 13, 14 years old. He forced me into saving money. And it was a small amount. It was like not even like what I look back at now, it wasn't even worth noting. Like I think it was like $10 a week my dad made me save and I had no bills. You know what I mean? Like that's a super easy, realistic thing to do. Every 2 weeks I'd get paid working at Wendy's from the time I was 14 to 16 years old. And every 2 weeks I would have to save $20. And I hated it so much at first. And my dad, I remember him telling me, like, once you get to a job where you're working a steady 40 hours or you're working the same amount of hours every week or whatever, and you're used to seeing the same steady paycheck every week, and when you save a certain amount of money, when it goes into the bank, it'll come right out of your check. Like if you get direct deposit, it comes right out of your check, goes right into the bank. You don't even ever see it. You don't even know it's gone. And then all of a sudden, a couple months will go by, a couple years will go by, and then all of a sudden you'll have money in the bank. And I hated hearing that at first. I was like, no, I want it now. That's $20. I could go buy $20 of food or whatever, candy or I don't know. It didn't matter. Whatever it was, $20 seemed like the whole world to me. So I didn't want to save anything. I wanted to spend. I was like, I worked for this. I want to blow it all. And it was a dumb way to think. Luckily, my dad made me do it against my will early on. And then quickly, like within 6 months to a year, I didn't even notice the money coming out. I got used to the paychecks coming the way they were without seeing that money. And then all of a sudden, once a month, once every few months, he would show me what my savings account is now up to. And it was like, and don't get me wrong, at $10 a week for 20 weeks, you do the math, ain't that much. However, when you looked at, when all I'm getting, like I'm thinking about it like this. I take $10 every week. That's only $10. Barely notice it. It's only 10. Only 10. Week after week. $10 week after week. All of a sudden, 20 weeks goes by. You got $200. And now when you're 14, 15 years old and you all of a sudden have $200, you're like, wow, man, I can buy a bunch of cool stuff with this. Like back then, video game systems cost like $200. So, I mean, I'm looking at it like, man, it only took me 20 weeks of not even really noticing. And then, bam, all of a sudden I can buy a whole new video game system when I'm 13, 14 years old, 15. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's small things like that I really believe, like my parents did an awesome job there because he made me save money against my will. Looking back now, it was such a minuscule amount. It didn't even matter. And yet, it helped me get into the habit of just automatically having money come right out of my paychecks and go right into the bank automatically, and then just don't look at it. Don't worry about it. Like pretend it doesn't exist. Don't touch that money unless you absolutely do not have a choice and you have to. And then all of a sudden when you go look at it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I have this much money in there all of a sudden. And then you get in this habit, you get like, it motivates you to not want to pull it out because you're like, damn, it took me this long and I got this much money. What if I like double how much I'm saving and then I don't touch it? And then in a year, we'll see how much that leads out to. And then all of a sudden now you got extra money. And then I got this job where I'm at now and they match 50% of every dime you save. So, which doesn't sound right. 50 cents on the dollar, 50%, right? And so then every time I would save $100, they throw in 50. Now I got 150. And I barely even noticed the 100. You know what I mean? Like the 100 will go out and it's not out of one paycheck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saving $100 every single paycheck. If I was a multimillionaire, I'd probably save way more than that, but I'm not. So my point is I save this money. It would go in the bank and then it would go in my 401k or actually I had money going into my 401k and I also saved money into a savings account. So I actually had two different accounts, right? And my work matched 50% to every dime I spent. So if I was saving $1,000, they threw in 500. If I saved 10 grand, they gave me 5 grand. I save 100 grand, they give me 50 grand. Like this stuff starts ramping up and it's like, it gets hard to just walk away from that. You know what I mean? It really does. And I don't know, man. But I effed up. I made the mistake of getting myself in this position where I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I still don't. And and I save money all the time just out of habit because my dad kind of forced me when I was younger. And now I do it on my own. He doesn't have to tell me to do it. I just do it. And it feels good doing it because it's a little amount that I don't even really notice out of my paycheck. I get a paycheck and I'm like, yeah, that looks normal. But then I realized later, oh man, money actually came out and went into a bank account, and then they also matched 50% of that. So now, not only did I save a certain amount of money, but they also save money. And then, being that it's in the 401k and being in the stock market and stuff, then the stock market shot up when Trump got elected, and for like a year and a half straight, it just went up, and it just skyrocketed. And love him or hate him, I'm not saying he's the reason that it went up, but he got elected and it went up. That's all I know. And I'm extremely grateful for what the stock market did when they didn't elect Hillary Clinton. So no, I don't know what would happen if she got in there. I'm not trying to get into the whole political thing, but I'm serious, man. It adds up quick. And then when you get into a company that isn't your passion, but you just don't know what you want to be when you grow up, and you just blindly jump into this work, now you're just working a job just to make money. And man, I wish I could go back to my 16-year-old self and be like, don't do that. Start focusing right now on building like what you're good at. When I was younger, my friends would always tell me like, you should be a comedian, and I never tried out for it. I wish I would have. I know these talks right here aren't very funny, but I promise there's a little bit in there somewhere. But no, they all were like, oh man, you like, I would get in these modes, I guess, where sometimes I would just start popping stuff off, and then it would be funny, and then my friends were like, you should be a comedian. And I was like, no, because I was so scared to get up in front of a crowd. As I got older, I was like, screw those crowds. I don't care. Like they're nothing. Like they're just people. They're not monsters. They're not saints. I don't know. Like there's no reason to be embarrassed is I guess my point. And it is tricky. There's so many people that don't want to get up in front of a crowd. And I used to be so terrified about that. Even though I was always a talker, I always wanted to even with strangers, I would always talk with strangers. I just didn't want to get up in front of a crowd because it was more of I'm an only child. So technically I got 2 half sisters, but they never lived with me. They're older and stuff. But I basically grew up an only child. And I had a friend that lived across the street, and he wasn't always around to play or whatever. So there were a lot of days in my life where I spent my day alone, like in my room playing my games, or just not having a brother or sister to talk to, or not having a friend over or whatever. And especially back then, you didn't have social media and Facebook and stuff. So if you didn't physically call somebody on the phone, you weren't talking to them. There was no texting. And so it was just a different time. And so I grew up in this mindset of like, and on top of that, my dad is even way more of a talker than I am. So like if I would be out in public with him anywhere, or if I would be anywhere where there's family or friends or anywhere where he's at, if I'm with him, I'm total silence and he's doing all the talking. Like when I was growing up, that's how it always was. And so the idea of getting in front of a crowd of people and saying, look at me, I have valuable information to share with you, look at me. It's just not in my DNA to be like that. It's not. But I mean, it's not in my DNA to be the type of, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. Now, I can get up in front of a crowd and talk about something that's relevant and that's meaningful and that matters because I feel like it's important and I feel like it needs to be done. And not everyone's capable of doing it. Not everyone has the drive to do it. Not everyone has the gift to get up in front of people and start talking. Not everyone has the ability to capture an audience and all these things. And those are things that I slowly started to acquire over time. And I'm not perfect. I'm still not 100% where I want to be, but I feel like I'm warming up and starting to get there, And I didn't have that when I was younger. In class, I didn't want to get up in front of the class and do a presentation. I hated that so much. I never wanted to do that. Now I would do that with ease. It's nothing. I like getting up and doing it now because I feel like, hey man, if I'm putting my time and effort into something to share with people, I don't mind getting up in front of them and sharing it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the, hey, look at me. I'm so important. I got stuff to tell you and you need to listen. It's not like that. What it is like is there's things that I wish I would have known a long time ago that I know now. And I'm doing everything in my power to try to just get that out and relay that with somebody. I feel like that is my purpose. That's what I'm meant to do. That's what I'm supposed to be doing is helping others because I care. And I feel like I've helped motivate some of my friends to get businesses started. And these are guys that I work with. Like, I know that the company would not be happy with me, manipulating or convincing these people to try to get themselves out of the place that I work at. You know what I mean? And I'm not necessarily trying to talk them into quitting. I'm trying to talk them into following their dream, following what makes them happy. If they feel good about something, do that. Try to do it all the time. Do it as much as you can. And I don't know. I feel like it's just something I really care about. It's like burning. And I don't know. I woke up one day and I was like, that really, really means something to me. And it clicked because my whole life, I've always wanted to talk with people. My whole life, I've always wanted to communicate. My whole life, I've always wanted to share ideas and learn from people and then meet other people and things like that. I've always just liked talking and all that stuff and not just to ramble about nonsense, but to actually, for it to mean something. And I do both. I ramble and I try to mean something. And but no, it's just I feel like now that is where my drive is. That's what I'm meant to do. That's the gift that I have, is that this stuff isn't embarrassing anymore. When I first started, man, I'm telling, go back, even if you watch my first videos, my very first podcast, even the audio ones that don't have videos, if you go back and listen to them on Spotify, I guarantee you're going to notice a difference between my first 5-10 videos or first 5 to 10 shows, podcasts, compared to now. And I feel it. I feel different because I feel like this whole sitting in front of a camera and microphone and talking is now feeling natural. Whereas when I first started, it didn't. Not at all. I felt weird. I felt embarrassed. And I'm sure you can notice that in my intro to my podcast. If you look at my videos about like video gaming and all that, because when I just started getting into the idea of me talking with people and videotaping things that I'm doing and all that. And it's weird because my whole life I felt like that was something that kind of came naturally to me, but the idea of being in front of people saying, "Look at me, look at me, look at me," was scary, intimidating, and borderline. Like I just almost felt like it was an arrogant thing to do. And it's not. It really is not an arrogant thing to do. Me sitting here and talking to this camera or talking to you is not an arrogant thing to do. It's not like I'm saying, listen to me because I know everything. That's not how this is playing out. Anybody that knows me knows that that's not where the message is. What it is that I feel very, very, very strongly about helping people find their purpose, find their gifts, their talents, their skills, their abilities. I feel like I have a knack for finding that and helping motivate people to do that. Not manipulate necessarily, because I know that's a stigma, it has a stigma to it. It sounds terrible. But I do, man. I really want to manipulate people into doing what they love. If that is the biggest crime against me, is that I manipulate people into doing what they love and what they're good at, then I want to be guilty. I want to be guilty as charged with manipulating you into doing what you love doing. Life's too short to sit around and do stuff you don't like doing. It just is. And we're taught this at an early age that, well, the right thing to do is to go get a job and work there for 30, 40 years and retire and try to enjoy the last few years of your life. Well, how do I know I'm going to make it to retirement? I don't know that. And here's the way I look at it. My dad taught me something really good that I thought is just amazing. And he said, live like today is your last, but save like there's always a tomorrow. That's how I butchered the hell out of that, but it's basically along these lines. Live like today is your last day, but save like there is always going to be a tomorrow. Because you don't know when the day is your last day. You don't know which day is your last day. So it's stupid to blow all your money and just be like, well, I could die tomorrow. Okay, well, what if you live for another 50 years? You got nothing. You have to plan like there's a tomorrow, but appreciate life. This is what it's about. Appreciate and live life to the fullest that you can, but at the same time prepare like today is not your last day. Prepare like you got 50 more years, even if you're 100. Prepare like tomorrow they're coming out with the serum that will allow you to live another 50 years no matter how old you are. Live like that. Prepare like that. But live like you don't have time to just waste. And like I said, wasting is all in here. Wasting time is 100% up here. If you hang out with somebody you don't care about, that you don't like, but you're just doing it because it's common or routine, or it's like you used to really like them, but you've grown out of it because you guys have just changed, whatever the situation is. Don't just stick around just because. Don't waste your time. You don't know how much you have. You can't afford to waste it. At the same time, every possible second that passes, try to take something valuable out of that second, out of that minute, out of that hour and day and week, month, year, decade, century. Take as much as you possibly can out of every second of every day of your life. Because ultimately, you can waste time, but only if you let it be wasted. And let me break this down, why I say it like that. If you genuinely take something valuable out of every second that you're alive and that you breathe, if you can find a way to justify it in your head, like sitting in front of the couch watching TV, well, if I didn't watch this episode, it wouldn't have taught me this life lesson that I can now take forward with me for the rest of my life. That's not a wasted time sitting in front of your TV watching a TV show. But if you're sitting in front of a TV show just watching something just to like lay there and chill and relax, if you really need to lay there and relax, take a nap. That's the best way to rest. That's the best way to refresh your batteries, man. Laying there just like this, watching TV, it's a waste of time unless you're literally doing it to try to learn something. It is. It really is. And I had this talk with a good buddy of mine not this long ago. He said something about sitting around playing video games. People will try to justify it and say that they're not wasting their time when really it's nothing but a waste of time. And I said that you couldn't be farther from the truth. That's definitely wrong. Because I've played video games video games where you're like in outer space. Oh, for instance, right? I've always liked football. Well, at least for many years now. I've liked football, and I bought Madden years ago. In 2002, I believe, was the very first one that I ever bought. And you could easily, if you're with a closed mind, you could easily say, well, just sitting around playing Madden, that's just a waste of time. Okay, you can say that, but you're wrong. At least for me, you're wrong. It might be a waste of time for you, but it wasn't for me, and here's why. I liked football, and I understood the concept, but I never, back then especially, I never understood the play art. Meaning the plays, like like these linemen line up right here. You got your quarterback right here, your running back here. You got these receivers here. You got this guy blocking here, and they all run certain directions. They all block a certain way. The quarterback's going to look at these people. I knew that kind of stuff was going on, but I didn't know why or how you determine which play to pick for which defense. I just assumed back then, you just decided, do I want to pass it or do I want to run it? And is this the time I want to pass it? Is this the time I want to run it? Well, if it's short yardage, maybe you just run. If it's long yard, maybe you just pass. That's what I thought. Then I start playing Madden, and I realize the defense lines up in certain ways, and the defense, based on how they line up, will determine somewhat where they're going to move or what type of defense they're trying to play. And then there's other things that you do on offense where you can take a receiver, and because there's too many defensive guys right here, you can move them out here where there's less people, more gap. It allows more of a window for you to throw in and things like that. I never understood those types of things 15, 16 years ago, whatever it is now, when I first started playing that stuff. I didn't. But through time of playing that video game and having to choose plays and seeing what they did on the field and how they responded to, like how the defense responded to this offense and how the offense responded to this defense, and if the wind is blowing 5 miles an hour, like where do you need to aim in order for that ball to curve back around and be right down the middle? And like there's physics involved, there's creativity involved, and if you're just sitting there playing just to like waste time, then it's a waste of time by definition. But if you're playing and you're actually literally learning stuff and it's making your brain grow and you're expanding your knowledge of the sport and why people do this, and like, well, this guy's on this team and he was good he's a little bit older now, so I think he's going to get a little bit worse every year because he's getting older, and the younger guys are probably going to start get better until a certain age, and you start seeing all these things, and then it makes sense. You don't get that just from watching a game on TV. You know what I mean? You like when you're watching the game on TV, you're genuinely rooting for a certain team or a certain player, or it's your home team, so you're wearing the jersey and you're rooting. And it's more of just an event just to get messed up or watch a game, just have entertainment. But playing the game, the video game, taught me so much about what to do and who's good at what and why they do this and what type of pass to throw in this situation. And it taught me like scenarios and situations. And now I understand the game of football way better than I ever have. And I know it's not just because I've watched the Lions lose for the last 20 years of my life. It's because I played Madden and I studied these things. So to act like playing a video game is a waste of time, it is only if that's how you are choosing to look at it. But to look at anybody, if you watch me or you watch your son or daughter or you watch your best friend or whatever play a video game and you say they're just wasting their time, you don't know what you're talking about. Unless they specifically say, oh yeah, I'm just wasting time. Okay, well, then that's not a good way to pass time if you're just wasting it, you know? And when you're young, the whole idea of wasting time doesn't matter to you because you're young. You feel like you got millions of years left. You feel like the time is infinite to you. You feel like, oh, I'm never going to see the end of this. As you get older and you feel your body start changing and getting older and not as strong, and you get out of bed and all of a sudden your knee hurts for no reason whatsoever, then you're like, damn, I might not have as much time as I thought. You know? And maybe it's time I start acting now instead of waiting and just hoping something falls in my lap. It really pushes you to start trying to be your best every day instead of waiting for the right time to happen for you or to you. You need to go out there and do it yourself, man. And everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a goal. Find out what you're good at and what you like. That's your purpose. It literally is super simple, man. Your purpose usually is wrapped around what talent you have, what you're good at, what you like. And maybe you like something that you're horrible at. Keep doing it then until you get really good at it, because the best way to get good at anything is to just keep practicing over and over and over. You can be horrible at something and all of a sudden become one of the best, if not the best ever. That can literally happen. If you think about it, Jimi Hendrix became one of the best guitarists of all time. And there was a point in time where this dude picked up a guitar and had no idea what to do with it. Tom Brady and Joe Montana are two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. There was a time when they couldn't throw a football, let alone accurately. There was a time where Michael Jordan was kicked off his basketball team in high school. Either he got benched or he got kicked completely off the team altogether. This is in high school. He went on to be the greatest basketball player of all time. In high school, he got kicked off. He was benched. He couldn't play, put it that way. It was either benched or he got kicked off the team. I always get it wrong. I always mix it up. But what I'm saying is, there was a point in time when everyone thought, there was a point in time where Tiger Woods was the greatest golfer alive, lost it all, and then a decade later, now, he comes back and might be the best again. He's up there. He's certainly in the top 10, right, currently. And he's in his 40s. Most of the guys that are in the top 10 are in their 20s right now. Maybe one or two guys are in their 30s. The majority of them are in their early to mid-20s. He's in his 40s, dude, and he's still slaying them out there. Like, we all have a purpose. We all have something that we're really, really good at or that we genuinely love doing. First and foremost, I would find out what you love to do. That, to me, is even more important than what you're good at. Granted, what you're naturally gifted at, man, it feels very wasteful to not capitalize on that. If you have a gift of any kind, if you have a gift of whistling or beat, I seen a kid on America's Got Talent or one of them. Maybe it was the England's Got Talent or whatever. United Kingdom's Got Talent or Austria's Got Talent. I don't remember. The kid was a beatboxer, right? And now this isn't a lost art where people are just like, all right, you just make sounds with your mouth. That's whatever that was that. But he loves doing it and he's really good at it. Somebody out there is going to eventually offer this guy some form of a record deal where they either have him make beats with his mouth and then they try to model it on instruments, or they'll come up with some kind of technology where you can beatbox and literally turn that into a song, turn that into a beat. Like, eventually the technology is going to be there and this kid's talent is going to be just through the roof. The guy's probably going to become a multimillionaire. Look at this. The Cash Me Outside girl, Bad Baby, Danielle Bregoli or whatever her name is, right? This chick went from being on Dr. Phil, sounding like a complete and utter idiot, to now she's got a multi-million-dollar record label deal making rap music. And literally like 2 years ago, she sounded like a complete moron. Like, everyone was making fun of her. She was a meme. And now she's a millionaire, capitalizing on one stupid phrase where she sounded like a complete idiot. And this is what society loves. Like, society just cannot get enough of somebody just being an idiot, sounding like an idiot, acting like an idiot, and then we pay them top dollar. It blows my mind, the stupidity of our society sometimes. It really does. Like that kid that was it Walmart or whatever, and he was yodeling. Like, dude, I'm not knocking the kid, but the fact that this kid did something that, like, I don't want to say non-relevant. I'm not trying to shit on this kid's talent. I'm really not. I can't even say it really without sounding terrible. So here we go. We're going to say it anyway. The kid's an effing yodeler, and he's now making millions because he yodeled at some random... Like, nobody on earth even cares about yodeling. That's the thing. Like, good for him. Good for this kid. He found his 15 minutes of fame. He capitalized on it. The kid made some money. Hopefully he does something positive with that money and he makes a career. Maybe he's going to be the greatest yodeler of all time. I don't have to care. I could think it's the dumbest thing ever. I don't think yodeling's the dumbest thing ever. I don't care to do it. I don't like it. But kudos to the kid. He went out there and did it. He looked ridiculous. He looked like he was in like a cowboy outfit. Like the kid looked like he was straight out of an 1800s magazine, like catalog. An 1800s Sears catalog, if that was even around back then. And he's out there yodeling like he's in the show Doug, like the principal in the show Doug, for anybody that remembers what I'm talking about. The point is the kid's out there yodeling in a damn cowboy outfit in the middle of a Kmart or a Walmart, and he makes millions. Like, we pay for stuff that does not matter at all. There was that dude, what was his name? So, like, something... Young or Hung or whatever, and he did that song. It was on like American Idol a long time ago, and it was effing stupid. It was so dumb. And was it William Hung? I think his name was. Dude, I don't know. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. Please, somebody comment in the comments below. Please, somebody correct me on this because I'm forgetting his name. But he did something extremely dumb. The music was terrible. Nobody on earth liked it. And somebody still gave him a record deal. Somebody still paid him to be relevant for a day and a half. Like, dude, you're out there. We are living in the best time ever for capitalizing on anything that you're good at. Like I said, if you're good at doing this without messing up, do that on film and make money. Somebody's dumb enough to pay you. Like this... Everybody's got a talent. Everybody is good at something. I fully believe your purpose in life is to do what you like doing and make that your life's work. Somebody's going to pay you for it. Even if you don't have something you can like make money like showing people, write a book, write about it, man. Like maybe you just got wild, crazy astrophysics ideas going on here. Maybe you're the next Stephen Hawking. Write it down. Keep writing. Get it published. Somebody's going to look at it. Somebody's going to read it over, and somebody's going to be like, dude, this kid actually knows what they're talking about. If you're 8 years old, if you're an 8-year-old girl that is just loves baking, keep doing that until you're 18, 20, 25, 30 years old. Eventually, you're going to be the next, what's her name, Christina Tozzi? She's a phenomenal baker. She's on MasterChef and stuff every now and again. She's young. She's amazing at baking. And I'm sure she's a multimillionaire. I'm sure at this point she's got to be. And my point is this, man. If there's anything that you like doing, if there's anything you're good at, please focus on that, man. I cannot stress it enough. I talk about it all the time. Tunnel vision that. Think about that. The younger you are, the better. But no matter how old you are, you could be 80. Start today. You don't have a lot of time left. Whether you're 8 years old or you're 80 years old, you don't have a lot of time. Don't waste it on stuff that doesn't matter. If you're going to waste time on anything, find value in it. Value what you're spending your time on. For instance, I'm making this video right now. Say nobody ever watches it, right? Then it's just for me. I still value this time because I'm trying to get it out there to help people. I'm trying to motivate somebody. I'm trying to manipulate you into doing what you love instead of listening to the media, listening to the magazines, listening to music, listening to TV and shows that tell you, listening to anybody that tells you that you need to
get a good job after high school and get your PhD or your bachelor's degree and go to go to a good school after for this. Listen, only thing that matters. I'm not saying school doesn't matter. If you want to go to school, if you want to go to college and get your bachelor's and get your doctorate and get your all that stuff, do that. Don't ever let me deter you from doing that if that's what you really want to do. What you do need to do, though, more than anything, figure out, do some serious soul searching, man. Whatever you just love doing, anything that you would do for free, do it all the time. Show other people how to do it. Help other people, videotape it, write a book, do a podcast, make movies about it. Anything that you go around to different places and find groups of people and just do what you're good at if you can, if it's something that you can do in public. Just do everything in your power to get that out there to the world, and somebody's going to pay you to do it. Somebody is going to pay. I guarantee you can monetize anything. You can monetize. Listen, I've watched people take chalk and draw stuff upside down. Like, just for whatever reason, they decided, I'm going to start upside down. Maybe they see better that way. Maybe they visualize the painting or photo or picture or whatever. Maybe they visualize this stuff better upside down. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their head. But whatever it is that they're doing, it's working. Because they're doing stuff upside down, doing all these weird drawings, and then you're looking at it, and they do it in like the time lapse or whatever, where it's like super fast. So you see them, even though it took them a while to do in real life, you're watching them do this all in a matter of a couple minutes. And then all of a sudden when they're done, they take the painting, flip it upside down, and then you're like, damn, that looks like, the Mona Lisa. Or that looks like the whole entire city of New York. And it's like, you find all these like crazy things that people can do in the weirdest ways. And it's amazing. You can literally monetize anything now. You can literally get paid to do anything as long as you work your ass off at it, you market yourself, you get out there and you help people and you show people. Listen, if you're just doing it at home for fun, it's never going to go anywhere. But if you get out there in the world and talk to people about this and share your information and try spreading the knowledge that you have with others, somebody's willing to pay for that. Somebody is willing to pay you for your talent. And I'm telling you, man, that is your purpose. That is what I ultimately think will make people the most happy, is if you find something you genuinely love doing and you can find a way to turn that into a living. Dude, that's half the battle. Half the battle right there. The other half is like finding how you want to spend your time away from that. It's like, how do I want to make money? And then how do I want to spend my time away from that when I'm not making money? Like, what things in life are making me happy? If you can make money doing what makes you happy, then you can also have time to do a bunch of other things when you're not making money, when you're not doing what makes you happy. Because there's not only one thing in life that makes anyone happy. I'm sure there's tons of things that make people happy. Going to Disneyland, going to the beach, going to buy a new book that you want to read, going to see the new movie, binge watching your TV shows, right? Something makes you happy, but not all of that is going to make you money. Not all of that, at least. Like, me watching Netflix shows is never going to make me money. Nobody's paying me to watch a show. Unless I watch a certain show, watch the whole thing, and then I do spoilers and ruin it for people here, then half the people don't want to watch it because I'm spoiling it for them, and the other half want to watch it that already have seen it. What am I doing? Like, there's certain things that are probably never going to make money, but somebody out there is willing to pay. Just might not be a lot. You got to find what you're good at and do some serious thinking about how I can turn this into a profitable industry. Like, think of, like, somebody found a way. Like, think about, as wild as this sounds, porno. Think about that. Somebody found a way to film two people doing the deed and then putting it out there, and then other people are like, yeah, I'll pay to watch that. Like, what a wild, crazy thought. Like, instead of just doing it yourself, you'd pay to watch somebody else do it. Like, and somebody capitalized on that. Like, somebody thought to themselves, like, imagine this. This was back in a time when the camera was first coming around. Like, somebody was honestly like, hey, they're in the middle of an act. Let me freeze this so I'll always have it. Like, that guy was clearly a pervert, whoever came up. It might have been a woman, I don't know. Whoever did that the very first time, clearly a pervert. Nobody did that nobody saw two people banging and was like, I'm going to take a picture of that because it's art. Nobody, they didn't do that. Now people do, and they just make it up because they're creeps too. But nobody did that right off the bat. Some creep was like in a tree with like a camera, and somebody it like looking into a second story window, and their window was open, and he saw two people banging, and he was like, how can I capture this and do something filthy to myself later watching that? And they were like, snap, snap, snap. And then all of a sudden video happened, and they were like, roll them, and then there they are. They're out there creeping it up, and everyone's fine with it today. But originally, I'm sure it was weird. I don't know. But they found a way to make money doing it. Somebody found a way to be a creep and get paid to be a creep. Isn't that, like, if that guy can get paid, if that man or woman found a way to be a creep and get paid for it, the sky's the limit for you. I mean, for real. Like, the sky is the limit, man. If somebody can get paid, can become a millionaire off being a creep, then you can get paid too. I'm sure of it. You just got to find out what it is that you're good at, man, what you like doing. And I hate to keep saying man, because I know there's some women out there that watch. I'm not trying to discriminate. If you're watching this, I love you too. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm trying to motivate you or manipulate you just as much as I'm doing it with anyone else. I don't care what you look like, what sex you are, or gender, or what age, what color, gay, straight, if you can speak English or not. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to literally spend as much time as I can helping motivate / manipulate people into doing what they love doing and try to find a way to monetize it. That's my gig. That's what I do. That's what I'm trying to do. So, I don't know. I'm glad. If you like this video, please comment, share, like, subscribe, notify, whatever it is that you can do. Please help me out with that. It's awesome. If you want to get a hold of me, if you want to comment, please comment on the video below, or find me if you're listening on Spotify, Anchor, any podcast, any audio track or whatever. Please find me on Instagram, Twitter. It's Really Rich Podcast and Really Rich Adam. Either of those two should usually work on damn near all social media platforms. So I appreciate you guys listening. I can't thank you enough. And if there's any way I can help you, if there's any way I can motivate you, if there's any way I can coach you into doing what you like doing, or how to get started, how to get on track with this, if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. I'm not doing this just I'm not tooting my own horn just to be fun, just for my own sake. But sometimes, if you don't toot your own horn, there ain't any music. So, no. But yeah, please get a hold of me. I love to do anything I can to help you guys. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you. See you.